Welcome to It Happened in Grand Prairie. As we bring you the history of our city and some of the people that make history even today, we're just so pleased as this is our history tape number 493, and the magic date is July the 29th, 2003. And we have such an exciting group of guests today. We're going straight to the business. And Tammy, you're back for a second time in a row. You were on history tape number 492, and you couldn't get it all done. You have made so much history during the last 3 or 4 weeks that we had to have you back, and especially since you brought one of the stars of our show today with us. I thought that you deserved another History 30 Minutes. And with your permission, welcome you back, young lady.
Thank you, Miss Ruthie.
Steve Collins, I'm so glad to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Representing code enforcement. That sounds so really governmental, doesn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. And next, Lindsay Sider.
Yes.
We're
Hello.
just so glad to have you with us today.
Thank
and
you.
I can't reach you to welcome you, but you know that I'm so glad you're here because you have a great, great story to tell.
Yes.
We are very excited about that. But first of all, Tammy, we're going to let you set the stage for what all's happening on this stage here today. So.
Thank you, Miss Ruthie, and thank you for giving us the time. It does mean a lot to allow the time to showcase code enforcement. As your viewers may remember from the last show, we received several awards from Keep Texas Beautiful this year, and one of the most important awards was the Ed Davis Litter Law Enforcement Award, and we nominated code enforcement for that award. It's a Lifetime Achievement Award. The entire division was nominated for all of their efforts in the public education realm. And code enforcement are the unsung heroes here in Grand Prairie. They have to go out and kind of look at things that are not suitable in terms of living situations, high grass, unused vehicles that are sitting there forever, just code violations. And they are protecting us, but sometimes people don't take it that way. And
yes.
They don't get enough credit for what they do to help keep Grand Prairie beautiful. So
And they won an award?
They did. Our commission wanted to nominate them for this award, and they won first place in the state in the Ed Davis Litter Law Enforcement Award for all of their efforts. And Steve, he can rattle them off, I'm sure, but we wanted to give him a chance to brag on some groups that don't get enough time.
Enough time, right?
They don't get enough credit.
Right.
They don't get enough time to stand in front of people and say, this is what we're doing that is a positive reinforcement. They have so many public education programs out there, junior code enforcement officer program, a mascot, Code E, a little prairie dog that gets out there. And
Steve, how do you like this, sitting here raving, one of your raving fans here, talking about the good things that y'all are doing in code enforcement? And y'all have had sort of a bad name because y'all are kind of the environmental police that go around and tell people to shape up or ship out. And I'm so glad that you hung in there in spite of any bad publicity you may have gotten, because getting this recognition at the state, that makes up for a lot of that, doesn't it? Talk about it.
It really does, and we are humble and we're honored to have received such award and the recognition that our operation is doing something good, even though oftentimes citizens may not feel that way, especially the violators.
Yes.
But our focus is to maintain a clean and safe environment, along with other groups, other parts of the city, that we make that happen. And it's a tough thing to do, but we go after it with a focus and with a plan that's effective. So we're excited about that.
Well, sitting in the audience at that state meeting, I was at a table with Miss Cherry, some of the wonderful people from Grand Prairie, Texas that came, and there you were seated at the head table and introduced and presented awards, and I believe you even participated in a workshop, right? Tell me what you did at that meeting.
One of the things and that's a great thing to have received the award and then go and share with your colleagues or your other constituents or people who are in code enforcement field about how we are doing what we're doing. And they were intense and listening about how Grand Prairie Code Enforcement is progressing with that program, and we got a lot of recognition with that, a lot of feedback that was very positive, because we not just talked about cases per se, but we talked about how the city as a group, from all the way from the city council to the administration down to how our operation worked, it all works together. Without that, we wouldn't be as successful as we are.
Tell me about Cody.
Well, Cody came out of an ideal of how we can reach our community more effectively through public awareness. And
Yes.
we needed something that would be an attention grabber.
Yes.
When we go out into either events in the community or into the schools, the elementary schools or grade schools, to share an ideal or a concept of how we can go about keeping Grand Prairie beautiful.
And this little animal, Code-E, is designed by whom?
It was designed by the code officers.
Oh, great.
Right. They came up with the ideal, along with a coloring book and other tools, that when we go out, we have a tool to present as how we enforce codes, but in a pleasant educational way, in which it can be a reminder for citizens and children more so, because we understand as adults, our attention span may be a little short.
Yes.
But with children, if we're able to teach them now how to assist their parents
Yes.
or the community.
They really force their parents a lot of times, don't
exactly.
they?
And we
Yes.
recognize that.
Yes,
And we say, let's take this program
To the kids.
the kids.
That's the power.
Yes.
Oh, I'm so proud of you all. And how exciting was it to do a workshop?
It was great because I had a plethora of information to give that I really didn't know I had. That the
Did
team,
anybody ask you for your autograph?
Well, they wouldn't
Yeah.
let me go. They kept asking me for more and more
Okay, that's it.
information, more and
That's
more
it.
information. You feel the intensity of pulling. Tell us more. Tell us more.
Yes.
So we were just going on and on. I believe I stood there for a good 45 minutes or so, just going on. I took up most of the time that we had on the floor.
That is great. I think that's what we're real proud of you. And as a Toastmaster par excellence, I guess that helps you a lot, doesn't it?
It does, because I was able to strategically go and
Yes.
express and give detailed information, but at the same time put it in a teaching mode, but also a sharing mode where they were able to comprehend what we're doing and paint a picture.
I know you don't have enough, and you're going to fuss at the council about this, but how many code officers do you have for the city of Grand Prairie that is about 8 miles wide and about 26 miles long, starting up at Rock Island all the way down to Venus, and you have
Yeah.
all of this
Yes.
stuff to cover code-wise?
That is true. We have 11 officers that have targeted areas throughout the
Yes.
city. We have one that specializes in illegal dumping.
Yes.
And he is all over the entire city.
Oh, man.
And then we have 2 that work on the weekends to address those concerns. But then we have the other 8 that go throughout the rest of the week. And we strategically start every day looking at street to street, house to house at code violations, and we address them and educate citizens on what they can do to improve.
You will have a hard time covering all of the outlying areas of Grand Prairie. I was on Broad Street down near Mansfield Saturday for the Estes Cemetery meeting. Someone had dumped a whole bunch of brush and things on the side of the road, and that's in Grand Prairie. We would have never found that
Right.
if we had not been on the way to another happening down near the Peninsula area. And you have a lot to cover, Steve.
We have a lot to cover, and we recognize that as a team, but we do not allow that to hinder us from
Doing your
meeting
other
the
stuff.
expectations.
Yes.
And I'm proud of the group too, because not only we go out each day to identify codes and cite people or educate people, but we strive to utilize whatever time we have to develop a program,
Yes.
because it takes more than just going out every day. We had to take time to develop a program. That means that the group is creative,
Yes.
they're innovative, and they utilizing their talents and their skills helps to improve code enforcement, that aspect of our program.
Do you have anything in the plans about code enforcement operating on the weekends when a lot of people keep everything real nice during the week and then slam dunk you over the weekend by bringing out things on the weekend? Do you have anything in the plans for that?
Yes, we do. Matter of fact, we have 2 officers that come in on Saturday,
Yes.
and they peruse throughout the whole city, from north all the way to south, from east all the way to west, the major thoroughfares, and also we're available through water or the police channels where we take on complaints and we address those issues right then.
Well, I wanted the people to know that because I ran into one of them out on 360 coming back from Mansfield, and I stopped at Forever Young, which is a place where they have the old records
Yes,
that
they
old
do.
folks like to go to. There was a code enforcement officer, and he was in a truck, and he was cruising that, and he was making notes, and I just knew
Right.
that was the reason I asked that leading question, because I said, could we have code enforcement out here on Saturday?
On Saturdays.
And it was. You got them busy.
Yes,
And he was busy as Dallas.
yes.
Oh, we're so proud of you, Stephen. We're
Thank
proud.
you.
And what did your bosses think about you winning the prize?
They were ecstatic about bringing that program, taking that program to that level,
Yes.
and making Grand Prairie proud.
Oh, that's great. All right, we'll get back with you
Yes.
in a minute, but
Okay.
we want to get back with Tammy in a minute because we've got to get Lindsay high on board here. Tell me what created this Lindsay thing that you've got Lindsay here on front and center, and I've got to talk to her, so tell us why we're here.
Well, Ms. Ruthie, we can't rest on our laurels. We
Yes.
did win the Governor's Award and several other awards, and the Sustaining Excellence Award, and we're going to keep moving on. And I wanted to bring Lindsay here today. She's an example of how we're doing that, but not us in particular, it's the community out there. Lindsay's from Inglewood United Methodist Church, and this week, the week before, they were out doing their efforts in the community in their summer missions program. And what they do is partner with us to identify projects. We have an Adopt a Senior program where if there are seniors in neighborhoods that need some help, we try to link them with groups that can do it. And for the whole week, this group has been out there cleaning up, painting, trimming trees, building wheelchair ramps, any kind of project that they can do to serve the community. The kids actually pay to do the project. They pay, and then they camp all week in the church. They did that the week of July 21st, and we're out there.
That's on Marshall and Southwest 3rd
Yes,
Street.
ma'am, it is.
That wonderful church that's there that has done so much for the community. I'm going to let you rest. I've got to talk to Lindsay a little bit about this. Doing your mission work in Grand Prairie, Texas is outstanding.
Yes.
You didn't have to go to the Valley or to Mexico or to the West Coast or something. You concentrated on Grand Prairie. Tell me, Lindsay, how long you've been doing this.
I have been doing mission work since I was 12 at my church, and I'm about to be 18, and I think I counted up, this is probably my 11th mission trip that I've done. So
Yes.
we usually do 2 a summer. One is for the high school earlier in June, and we go away from Grand Prairie, but close enough to home. We travel to Paris and Wichita Falls and Monte.
Yes.
And then later in July, the younger kids, the junior high kids, get to join the high school kids and help us around here in Grand Prairie, and we stay at the church. And
Local mission work. That is wonderful that you've tuned it into the environment too. And who is your leader?
Teresa Gibbons, she's our
Teresa?
youth director, and she's
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh, great.
Awesome.
And do you have certain days of the week that you do this, or a certain time? Tell us when you do this.
This week, the last week, we went there Sunday night, and all the kids brought all their sleeping bags and all the food, and we unloaded the kitchen and everything in the church. And then
Yes.
Monday morning, we get up about 6:30 and eat breakfast at 7, and then go out to the job site from 8 to 12, and then come back to the church and eat lunch, and then go out back to the job site from 1 to 5. And it's Monday through Friday, and we get all sorts of jobs done.
That is wonderful. And this is all volunteer, and you pay to do it.
Yes,
Is there there's a tuition to get to do this?
because we've got to pay for our food and stuff and the materials that we use to help the elderly that we help with and stuff. So we
And
gotta.
who maps out your projects? Where do you get your information? Who needs what?
Teresa scouts it all the time. I really have no idea how she comes up with all this information, but we have people from our church that we usually go and help clean up their kitchen or something, and people from our church that we scrape and paint their house, and different people just around the community that just need help that we hear say. So
Now, do you get pretty good cooperation from your family? Your dad is a fireman at Fire Station number 9.
Yes.
What does he think about his daughter going down there and sleeping in a sleeping bag and doing all of this good stuff?
Well, he's usually with us half the time.
Oh, that's
so
great.
Him and my brother and my mom, it's pretty much a family deal. We all go and help.
All right, we got to have names.
My mom's name is Leanne Sider, and then my brother JP Sider, and my dad Jeff Sider.
And all of you, that's kind of a family mission trip,
yes.
isn't it? And in Grand Prairie, Texas, I think that is just wonderful. Well, now, you're where in school now?
I will be a sophomore in college.
Where?
This coming up year. I was at Northwood University, but now I've changed my ways a little bit. I'm going to go to TCC and finish up basics
Oh, yes.
this
Wonderful.
next year. So
All right. Which TCC? Going to the east?
yes,
Or the,
yes,
Yes, the East College. That's right off of Mansfield Road.
Yep.
That is a long way from Grand Prairie, Texas, down to that. We wanted that college in Grand Prairie, Texas, but just put it across the line on 360, but we couldn't cut it.
Yeah.
Yes, but you did graduate from a famous high school here in
South
Grand
Grand Prairie, yes, I
South
did.
Grand Prairie, you are a warrior.
Yes.
Yes, and do you miss being a warrior?
At times I do. My brother is there now. He'll be a sophomore this coming year at high school.
And his name?
JP.
That's JP.
And
okay.
he plays football and baseball big time, so I
Oh.
go and watch him play all the time. So
You're
I'm still
into
up there.
all of it, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes. And what do you think you're going to like the TCC?
I'm going
What did
to.
you like about choosing that?
It's just closer to home.
Yeah.
And it's just I've gotten away. I played golf for Northwood University, and it didn't work out for me as well as I liked it to. It was kind of too small for me. So I'm just
Yeah.
gonna take my time and get my basics done and see what I really want to do.
And
then
after that, you're going to
after
choose one
that,
of the big boys,
probably.
right? Oh, that is great. That's
So-
wonderful. Well, and your mom gives you all sorts of support. She doesn't want you to stay at home and do the dishes and all this, and you're out here doing something for someone else.
Yes. Yes.
That is really great. Of all the
you.
projects you've done, which one has been the most exciting to you of all that you've done?
Probably actually this the beginning of the summer, we traveled to Ada, Oklahoma, and actually we worked in Reagan. It's about 40 miles south of Ada, Oklahoma, and we built a church for I think it was Pennington United Methodist Church. It's an Indian reservation. And when we got there, all there was just a slab of concrete, just a foundation.
Yes.
And we built the entire church. We insulated it. We sheetrocked. We put a roof on. We actually, one of the older members, I think he's 80. He's traveled on 5 missions with us, I think. So, and he built a cross out of wood from some tree in his backyard, and it's just gorgeous. It's probably like 7 or 8 feet tall, and it's just awesome.
Yes.
And
That is awesome, isn't it?
yeah, but that was real rewarding to see an actual whole week's worth. A church was built in 1 week
For a Native
for
American
Native Americans that
Indians.
I think they were having worship in their kitchen actually.
Yes.
And now they have
Now
just
they have
an
the whole
actual
church.
sanctuary, and it's awesome to see that
is
go
really
up.
great. And your most exciting project, worthwhile in Grand Prairie, Texas?
One year last year I had my own group. I was old enough to have my own kiddos, and so there were about 10 of us, and we went to the women's shelter and scraped and painted out there for them. And so
That's
it
wonderful.
was real exciting to have my own
You can't tell
kids.
where
I've
that
always
is
had,
because that's a secret where the women's shelter
Yeah.
is, but that was a wonderful, wonderful project. And how did you get your leads that was needed? Your leader?
from Teresa.
From Teresa. Teresa's busy.
She is.
And is Teresa a part of the staff there?
Yes, yes.
That is really great.
Yes.
We're going to have to talk to Teresa one of these days, aren't we?
Ma'am.
Yes.
Trying to get her on, but
She's a little too shy. I don't know if she's going to ever get on camera or not.
She said she's
Tell her
only-
how wonderful we are. We just sit here and visit, don't we?
Yes.
That's great. Well, I'd like for you to look out into your camera and tell any youth in Grand Prairie, Texas that wants to come to your church and possibly work with this program. Tell us when the next one will be, and get in touch with Teresa and do an invitation.
Okay. We are from Inglewood United Methodist Church, and anyone who's 6th grade or older can come join our youth group. We worship Sunday nights from 5 to 7, and our next mission trip will probably be next year in the beginning, the first week of June. And if you don't have enough money to come, no problem, because we can still, well, there's plenty of members in our church who are willing to pay for you to come. If you just want to come and hang out with us and help others and share in God's Word, it's just awesome. So come on out.
And the magic telephone number is?
I really don't know the
All right,
telephone number.
but the magic address, you know that.
It's on the corner of Marshall and 3rd Street.
Yes, Southwest 3rd.
Yes.
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 Wonderful.
Teresa Gibbons is her name, and
okay,
she's
and we'll look it
awesome.
up in the book, won't we?
Yes.
We'll have all of it down. Well, I want to thank you, Lindsay, for such a wonderful history of doing this since you were 12 years old.
Yes.
And you've
thank you.
admitted your age now,
I
so
know.
we know how long you've been involved of giving back and having a mission group in the city of Grand Prairie for the city of Grand Prairie, Texas. And I know Tammy's excited about all the things that you're doing environmentally, because she gets to put that down as part of the credits of what she's doing. So she carries on your church work on into the city stuff.
Well, we find the projects for them. You asked about
Yes.
that. That's how they get them, is pretty much we link them to them besides the people that they know about. So it's a helping each other, but we're the biggest winners, and the citizens
Yes,
of
ma'am.
Grand Prairie.
That's wonderful. And having someone to document it is what is important. People do millions of good things for others, just like for Keep Texas Beautiful, but not many of them take the time to document it and get the things down the road. Just like History for Grand Prairie, there's not a lot of people that care enough about giving the time to document the history of Grand Prairie, but we do, and we try to document everything, don't we, Steve?
Yes, we do.
All right. And Tammy, don't you have something about the Sustaining Award?
Yes,
Do
ma'am.
we have a little time to do that and
I
tell us
do.
what that is?
I have 2 other awards that we did win.
Okay.
Back to Steve for a minute. We nominated them for the Ed Davis Little Law Enforcement Award, which they won. But there's a new category called the Government Award.
Government Award?
And it's for excellence in a government agency. And we nominated code enforcement for that, and they came back with an honorable mention. I think they would have won first place, but it would have been first place in everything. And
They couldn't do that.
I don't think so. But
He's going back next year.
yeah.
Is it going to be in Houston?
Yes, ma'am, it is. And we also won, the one I'm very proud of is the Sustained Excellence Award, which means that for 3 consecutive years we scored 90 or above on our application, which is not an easy thing to do. A lot of rules, a lot of questions, executive summary, and a lot of statistics required. And then to receive that award, you have to score that 3 years in a row, and then this is our 5th year in a row to get that. So it just is, 13,000 volunteer hours, people like Lindsay out there and the church doing things, contributions of code enforcement, all of that adds up to the city looking more beautiful, and that's a Sustained Excellence Award.
Yes. Is there any way we could get an award of excellence for your neighborhood groups? Pulling together your neighborhood groups has been outstanding, and you may not have won an award at Keep Texas Beautiful for that, because they may not even have that category. But one thing about it, you have done a marvelous job with that, and we're going to have to honor them in some way, because
Well, the national awards are coming up from Keep America Beautiful, and I believe they have a neighborhood category, so we'll sure give that a shot, Miss Ruthie.
Oh yes, all right. Well, there's a lot of people going from the Dallas area, I'm sure, to Keep America Beautiful, because they're celebrating their birthday, see.
So that's a
And-
moment in history. 50
Yeah,
years
50
of
years
Keep America
of
Beautiful.
Keep America Beautiful.
They showed that commercial with Iron Eyes Cody where he cried at the river. I
Yeah.
remember watching that when I was a kid. I don't know if
Yes.
you remember that. It touched me again. I wish they'd re-show those. Do you show it on your show?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Well, is there anything else we need to talk about beautification?
Could I talk about the Adopt a Senior program for a
Let's
minute?
do it.
We haven't really promoted that program a lot, but it's because we don't want to get overwhelmed with it. But the purpose of the program is if there's a senior citizen who needs some yard work, has some tree limbs that need to be limbed up, we'd like to at least have you on our list. If there's something that we can do, a group that we can match you up with to do it, we would sure give it a shot. And the phone number to call to get listed is 972-237-8152, and that's Keep Grand Prairie Beautiful's phone number. And the projects, again, are geared towards weeding out flower beds, helping clean yards, painting, trimming up trees, and I can't guarantee to you if you call that number that we can do your project, but we'll do our very best. We have a group from Dalworth called the Dalworth Youth for Environmental Action Committee. It's a collection of youth ministries from throughout the churches in the Dalworth area under the leadership of Mildred Davis and Tommy Williams have pulled together, and they're out there doing projects, very eager to do projects. And also we have students in our Clean Campus program who would like to do some in the summer through Youth for Environmental Action. That's YEA with the exclamation.
Yes, exclamation.
So we have some people in Inglewood United Methodist Church group like that who can get out and help us, Kiwanis, other groups too. So adopt a senior if you need help with your yard, 972-237-8152. No guarantees, but we'll sure try to match you up.
And how about graffiti?
Yes, ma'am. For graffiti, the Building Services Agency in the city handles the Graffiti Hurts program, which is very critical. Statistics show if you don't stay on top of that, it'll get tagged again and again. But if you clean it up, you'll win that battle over time. And our Building Services people have done a terrific job, and you can reach them through the city's main number, 972-237-8000. And when you call that and you ask for building services for graffiti removal, they'll ask you to sign a release form. It doesn't matter whether it's private property or public property. We've got to stay on top of this graffiti situation. When you call, usually it will be cleaned up within 48 hours. So
We're going to have another show. We only have about a minute and a half or 2 minutes left, and we were going to talk a little bit about some kind of happening at I-30 and Beltline Road.
Yeah, can I tell them about that a little bit?
I think we have about a minute.
Okay.
We've got 2 minutes, she says.
Okay, great. Thank you, Ms. Ruthie, for this chance. Working with the Beltline Corridor Task Force under the leadership of business liaison Mike Foreman. He's the chair of the task force. There's a link to Keep Grand Prairie Beautiful in that the funding comes from the city beautification dollars. They have been working together, and I'm a member of the task force, to come up with a beautification master plan for I-30 at Beltline. That's a major entryway for the city, not just because of Lone Star Park, but just a major portal. We need to beautify it. We have some opportunities to beautify it, and one of the most exciting things we're doing right now, I mean, you're gonna see changes in the coming weeks, is painting a huge mural set at the underpasses and retaining walls at I-30 and Beltline. The artist who's painting it is artist Tommy Weddle. He's a regional artist. You've seen some of his murals in Grand Prairie before. And it's got a prairie theme. The southwest corner will include buffaloes and native grasses. The southeast corner will include a riparian look, celebrating the importance of the Trinity River watershed. In the north will carry the riparian area, and then on the northwest corner will be horses running, kind of in celebration of Lone Star Park and our history. All of this is to represent what was here in Grand Prairie before the settlers came. A lot of celebration of water, native flowers, fauna, flora, animals indigenous to the area. It's going to be big for Grand Prairie.
Now, when you get all of that pulled together, the murals and the other things that are going to happen to that, we'll have to have you and Steve back on the show. Steve Foreman.
Mike Foreman.
Mike Foreman.
Steve is he's on the committee too.
Steve may be on the committee. We may bring you back. He's the Toastmaster.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank y'all so much for being here. And Lindsay, I'm so proud of you. That is a real salute to the youth of Grand Prairie.
Thank you.
Yes. And
Thank
she
you.
should be nominated for the Ruthie Jackson Youth Award next year.
Yes, the whole church should.
The whole church.
That's a great idea.
Thank y'all for being here. And this is Ruthie Jackson reminding you that history is as we live and do and document.